Good morning, friends, and welcome back to the channel. It is morning. I just woke up. I'm a little puffy, a little messy, but that's okay. Today we are doing Christmas, y'all. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's the middle of November, and I usually do all my Christmas stuff the very beginning of November because it is my favorite season of the year, favorite holiday, and I want to be able to enjoy it as long as I can. But we decided to do something different for our Christmas tree this year, so I wasn't able to get it up as soon as I wanted. So most of our marriage, we did a fake Christmas tree just for the ease of cleanliness, right? You know how it is. You got the real tree, you get all the pine needles everywhere, you got to water it, all the things. And we moved around a lot in the military, and so it was just easier to have our artificial Christmas tree that we toted along with us at every station we were at. But last year, when we first got to our cabin here in Alaska, you guys might remember we decided to do a real Christmas tree. And while I loved it and it smelt delightful, because of the wood burning stove, didn't matter how much it was the tree was watered or anything, but because of that dry heat in this tiny cabin, the needles were just falling all over the place. I mean, you would just brush across it by accident when you walked by, and needles just went everywhere. And then you guys know that we also have the 2 kitty cats, which they had a field day with it. So I told Joe, we're not doing that again. So this year, we went and bought a new artificial Christmas tree. We had sold the other one in Virginia before we came to Alaska. And I purposely got a super extra tall Christmas tree because you guys know we have vaulted ceilings here in the cabin. And I just think that this tree is beautiful. So we put it up the other day. I couldn't wait. I asked Joe as soon as we bought it, please put it up, even though we didn't decorate it yet. It's very pretty. I like the white lights. They're just very classic and calming. So today we're going to be Christmas decorating with Parker and Kellen, and I'm really excited. But first, we woke up this morning to about 1.5 feet of fresh snow. It was supposed to be 5 inches, and we've got about triple that amount. So it is all hands on deck to get the snow cleared outside. Right now, we couldn't even get out of the driveway if we wanted to. So Joe's out there getting the snow blower ready. We've cleared off the porch, but we still have a lot to do, and we've got to get the sheep fed, which we have yet to do because there's just a ton of snow. So we're all heading outside, gearing up to clear pathways to the animals and get some of this snow cleared up, and then it's just gonna be a day in the life here with us. I hope you guys enjoy these videos, just hanging out, and then we're gonna come back together later on after school, and we're gonna decorate the cabin for Christmas, and I'm really excited. Bradley, this is not for you. How's it going, Joe? It's quite the trail you're blazing here. Is it easy because it's powdery?
It's alright. Stuff to give it a little bit.
Wow.
But
I can't believe the amount of snow we got.
I need to just get the majority of it with this, and then I'll use the plow.
Yeah. Get him, B. Get him, B. Bradley's like, it's my favorite season. It's no season. He gets so excited.
Nice. Hey. Good boys. Oh, his face now.
my snow puppies. There is so much snow out here. This is like last year when I took you guys with me when Joe drove through Canada to get Lexi and bring her to Alaska. And me and the boys were stuck here alone for like 4 days and we had a snowstorm. It was a little bit more than this, like a ton of snow. I got the snowplow stuck. The snowblower wouldn't work because the snowblower works best for soft, powdery snow when you don't have tracks on the wheels. But the snow that we had that time was very wet and sticky and hard, so the wheels would just turn in the snow and had no traction. And that's a heavy machine, so it was really heavy for me. I mean, this is a long driveway. So to think that you could physically, manually push that snowblower all around is just unreasonable. And you're not supposed to have to do that. It's supposed to be like a lawnmower. It has that, traction to kind of help pull it along. But with the snow that we got last time, it wasn't working. It was just spinning. But today it's working great for Joe because this is all just fresh powder. So good. I'm glad it's working. It'll make it easier. I think he's going to try to do it with the snowblower initially, and then he's going to break the plow out. We have to dig out the Polaris though. The Polaris is currently covered in snow. Are you serious? You think I'm faking it? It didn't work like this for me last time, Joe. This is fresh powder, baby.
You said that you woke up and it was like this, and then you had to clear it out.
I might have let it accumulate for 3 days before I tried to do something about it. What about it? Naomi. Hi, girl. Hi. Are you playing with Asher?
We don't put anything in here today, right?
6, 5, 3. Okay. All right. So you were close here, Kellen. You said that the time is 12:03. But
I had a bad feeling about this.
you had a bad feeling about it? When we're counting minutes, the 3 doesn't represent the number 3. Remember, we have to count by 5s on the clock, starting with the number 1. So what time would it be if the minute hand is on the 3? You're correct on the hour. It's 12 o'clock. How many minutes past 12? If you count by 5s.
Oh.
What is it? How many minutes?
It is 15.
15 minutes. Good job.
12:15.
12:15. If we were eating lunch at 12:15, would that be AM or PM?
PM.
Correct. So circle the letters that should be capital. So I want you to read these words to me. And when you see a letter that should be capitalized, I want you to circle it. Okay? What's this word?
Beth.
Beth. And that's a name? Very good. So the first letter is capital.
Tom.
Yep.
Me.
Right.
At.
We have a silent E, so the A is long.
Great.
Grape. Do we capitalize grape?
No.
No. The study of the rules of language.
Grammar.
Grammar. Good. How about a small piece of dust or rock that glows as it falls toward the earth?
A meteor.
Meteor. Good job.
It's not an actual star.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll talk a cup of kindness yet for days of old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, and here's a hand of thine. We'll talk a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll
All right, tonight we are making some delicious homemade pretzels. I'm gonna make a savory pretzel that's with salt and pepperoni. We're gonna be dipping it in a delicious cheese sauce that Joe's gonna make. And then tonight I'm also gonna make a dessert pretzel with a yummy cream cheese frosting with sugar and cinnamon, like right? I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are some of your favorite holiday traditions? Whenever we decorate the Christmas tree, we always make pretzels. It's just kind of a new tradition that I started a few years ago. The kids absolutely love it. It's warm, they're yummy, and it's just something that we've all grown accustomed to expecting this time of year. As always, I will be sure to link this recipe for you guys in the video description, as well as the cheese sauce recipe and also the way that I make a simple cream cheese frosting. So you're gonna cut your dough into about 8 equal parts here, and all we're gonna do is roll these out into about 30-inch ropes. If you can't get them to roll out, you might wanna set it back in the bowl and let it rise for an additional 10 minutes. But once you have these rolled out to about 30 inches long or so, it doesn't have to be right on, you're gonna put the dough in a U shape, and then you're just going to drape it up, crisscross it over the top a couple of times, and then you're going to bring it back down to the bottom, tucking those ends in and ensuring that you pinch them closed. Now this recipe I'm sharing with you guys makes about 8 pretzels, so if you have a large family or you just want leftovers, you might want to double this or even triple the recipe. Now we're going to take these pretzels and dunk them in simmering baking soda water for about 10 seconds each. Set them out on some parchment paper, and then we are going to get them ready to go in the oven. Now, I never said my pretzels were beautiful, okay? Don't be judging my pretzels now. Right about at this point, you might think you messed up in this recipe because they look a little wonky, but don't worry, friends. When you stick these in the oven, they're gonna be beautiful, and better yet, they're gonna be delicious. Now on to a super simple cream cheese frosting. With any kind of sauces, you guys, I double the recipe always. There's never enough icing, right? And never enough cheese sauce. So go ahead and double the recipe that I'm gonna share with you guys that I've got linked in the video description. Now for the dessert pretzels, we're gonna slather these nice hot pretzels with some butter, and that's gonna help hold on the cinnamon and sugar that we're gonna be putting on them in a few minutes. Now you can make your own cinnamon sugar concoction. I'm keeping it simple tonight, and I've got some that I bought from the grocery store, and it's already mixed and ready to go. Hey friends, good morning. Thank you for decorating the Christmas tree with me and the boys last night. That was a lot of fun. It is beautiful. It's more beautiful than I thought it was going to be. Unfortunately, our tree star is not lighting up, so we've got to get some new light bulbs for it. Everything else that we have is like LED and the star is not, so we don't have any bulbs that will work in it. So it's like, man, how can you decorate the Christmas tree and not have the star light up? But such is life. The star is there. It is just not lit up, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful Christmas tree. And Kellen and Parker had a blast decorating it last night. Today, we have a big chore on our to-do list, and I wanted to give a little disclaimer. I feel obligated to give this disclaimer. I don't mind giving this disclaimer because I know that there are some of you that truly can't handle the grim and the gory details of things that we do here on our homestead. And I, want to respect that. So today we are going to be processing one of our lambs for the freezer. And you guys know we recently just moved to our homestead here in Alaska a year ago. And so we're still working on like the infrastructure of everything. Animal shelters, planning on building our greenhouse this summer coming up and all the things so that we can run a very successful, productive homestead here in Alaska. But one of the things that we have done already is got our flock of sheep and built their pasture and built their shelter and all the things that they need. So our plan for the sheep is to have them for milk and meat. I used to milk our sheep in Virginia, and they have delicious milk. We also had a cow that we milked, and while cow milk is wonderful, our family is very small, and we just couldn't keep up with the production of milk that the cow had. So sheep seemed to be the perfect fit for our family, as we would get a pint to a quart of milk a day from each ewe that we would milk. So milk and meat are the purpose of the sheep that we have here on our homestead. And I just want to say, if that's something that bothers you, or maybe even it's something you don't agree with, then I want to give you that opportunity now to click away or maybe scroll through the part of the video that hurts your feelings. So I have a lot of lovely subscribers that always tell me, Tina, don't acknowledge the haters. Don't reply to the comments. Don't waste your energy on them. They're not worth it. And while I 100% agree with all of those comments, I also want to say that as the content creator and as the person that's running my YouTube channel, I also have the right to respond and reply to comments if and when I feel it's needed. And it's not, other than the temporary annoyance of some of the rude, unnecessary comments, they don't have an effect on our life, right? Like the people that don't eat meat, that think that we're just horrible humans because we kill animals and eat them, haven't stopped me from eating meat, right? The people that judge us for homeschooling our children and not sending them to public school hasn't stopped me from homeschooling my children. So I say that to say that it doesn't have an effect on our lives. And I know that and I get it. A lot of you say that, and we appreciate that, and we agree with you. But at the same time, it's a little frustrating sometimes because, we're putting our life out there. And so obviously it's an invitation to comments and opinions versus us. We're not telling you how to live your life. And then people say, but you're putting your life out there on the internet. So I get it. But at the same time, I have a right to respond to it too. So I just feel the obligation to let you know in this portion of the video, we are going to be processing our lamb Abel for the freezer. And that's the purpose of raising up these the ram lambs. Obviously, we're not going to keep them. We need one ram in our flock in order for breeding, but the males will be processed for the freezer every year when they're old enough. And it works out great here in Alaska. The temperature is nice and cold today. It's 20 degrees outside. So processing him and hanging the meat in this temperature is great for the meat. As homesteaders, and I think it's interesting because it depends on who you talk to as to what is the definition of a homestead. And we've gotten this so many times over the years on our channel to include off-grid, right? Like, what does off-grid mean? Well, it depends on who you ask. Some people think that off-grid means that you're remote in the middle of Alaska and you're hauling your water and you're pooping in a hole. Some people, me and Joe included, we go to the very technical term of off-grid. If you Google it, that is no electricity. You are off of the electrical grid. We have no public utilities other than our internet service, and we do call in propane twice a year. Other than that, we get our energy from the sun. We have a well for our water. We do have a septic system, but for all intents and purposes for our family, when we say off-grid, we just mean that we are off the electrical grid. As far as homesteading, people have made comments before about, you're not a homesteader, you know, because why? Because I don't have a big red barn with the green tractor. Like, people have these ideas of what a homesteader is. But for me, homesteading is a mindset. It is not determined by the size of your land. It's not determined by which farm animals you choose to raise. It's not determined by if you bake your own bread every week or not and you buy store-bought bread. Homesteading to me is a mindset. It is striving every day to be self-sufficient as you possibly can be. We've never portrayed our channel to be a completely 100% self-sufficient channel. I don't think anybody can be that way, and I've said that before, right? We're not growing sugar cane and coffee beans, so I've got to buy my coffee from the store, wherever we get our coffee from. So everybody out there, no matter how self-sufficient they think they are, they're still dependent on the system for something, even if it's gasoline for their generator on their off-grid homestead or whatever it may be. But, you know, we started homesteading about 6 or 7 years ago in Virginia. We built up an 18-acre farm. We sold that farm and moved to a 1-acre homestead. And we had a lot of comments, not a lot, we just had some comments from people that are like, oh, suburban homestead, you guys aren't homesteaders. Like, we lived in a rural area on 1 acre of land. And so we homesteaded on 18 acres. We homesteaded on 1 acre. It had no effect the size of land that we had. We were raising pigs, milking sheep, raising chickens, turkeys, processing about 30 meat birds per year to put in the freezer. We had a thriving garden on 1 acre. And that 1 acre was shared with our house, my grandfather's detached cottage house, right? And our shop. So it wasn't even that the homestead itself was a full acre. That 1 acre housed us, our animals, our garden, our garage, everything. So you can homestead just about anywhere. So I think that, you know, we've just never acted like we are completely 100% self-sufficient, because we're not. We go to town, our closest town, about twice a month for supply runs, for sour cream, for ketchup, for toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? So we'll never pretend that we're going to die that winter if we don't bag a moose, because that just wouldn't be true. We don't bag a moose. We have a grocery store that we can get to where we can buy food. Now, we try to buy good food, right? Organic food, sustainably sourced, not the crap food, because it's important to us what we put in our bodies. But we're just not the type of people to pretend like we're off-grid Alaska hauling in our own water and we're gonna die if we don't get a moose that winter. Like, all the things, and I've seen it. I've seen other channels that do that, and I know the channels, and I'm like, but you're 15 minutes from a grocery store. So let's not pretend we're something that we're not, right? Like, it's just striving to be self-sufficient. For me, it's enough to know that if you know what hits the fan, I know how to put a seed in the ground and make a vegetable out of it. I know how to preserve the veggies from the garden, canning, dehydrating, and things like that. It is peace of mind for me that I've got the skills to do that if I want to do it and if I need to do it. And for us on the homestead, we've always looked at what are the staples for our family as far as what are we going to raise, what are we going to grow. I think our first farm in Virginia, we went way overboard. We had every stinking farm animal that you could possibly imagine, some that we didn't need that gave nothing back to the homestead. And when you have that many animals, it is expensive, right? Hay, grain, fencing for your pastures, like all the things that come with having a homestead. And so we've learned with each homestead that we've moved from, the animals that we really don't need, we just wanted them, just different ways that we wanted to do things. And so here on the Alaska Homestead, a lot of you have asked, like, what animals are you planning on getting? Are you going to get any more animals? The answer as of now is no. And I say that because the animals we have right now give us the staples that we need in our family. We have our chickens for eggs. We have our sheep for dairy, right? Milk, heavy cream, butter, cheese. And then we've also got the sheep for meat to pack the freezer. And we will be doing meat birds again. I love meat chickens. They're super easy to raise. You raise them for like 8 to 10 weeks, process them, and your whole freezer is packed full of fresh, homegrown chicken. And then you can use all those carcasses when you cook them to make your own chicken stock, your bone broth. And it's just kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. And so here in Alaska, we want to go on adventures. We have the remote cabin where we want to go out there for a week at a time. If you've got horses and cows and chickens and geese and ducks and sheep and pigs and all the livestock, it makes it that much harder to be able to go away for days at a time like that. So that's just what we have here on the homestead. We want to keep it simple, keep it to the basics of what we actually need. And plus that way we're not putting out thousands of dollars a month for feed on animals that aren't giving back to the family. So I am super excited today. You know, we got Abel, the ram lamb we're going to be processing today. We got him when he was maybe 2 months old. And so he's 6 to 8 months old now. I'm not going to try to do the math, but he's butchering age. He's old enough, and him and his father are not getting along. It's not usually good when you have two rams in the same pasture. They're competing. It's mating season right now, and so it's just a constant head-banging fight, and he's got to go. And so I'm excited. It's going to be fresh meat for our family. It's going to be an experience for Parker and Kellen to be a part of that. As you guys know, Parker's been a part of these types of things many times, being on the farm in Virginia and the 1 acre homestead. Kellen hasn't. He's got to see us process some roosters, but this is a little different when you do a larger animal, so it'll be really educational. Today is supposed to be our science day in homeschool, and we're not doing our normal curriculum because this is their science lesson today. They're going to learn how to process this lamb, and Parker is going to be the one that is taking him out. And I think that that's a big thing for Parker. It's a big day for him. I know he's a little nervous, but he wants to do it. And Parker knows where his food comes from. And I think that it's like the best education that you can give these kids, to know how to raise up their own food and to know how to process it. Bless you. It's the best education that you can give them. So he's excited. It's going to be a big day for him, a big day for our family. And so I just wanted to jump on and say all of what I just said, to say that this is just how we live our life. And we by no means think everybody should do this. We're not trying to push our lifestyle on other people. This is just how we roll, and you do you, boo, and we're going to do us. And I would never come in and tell you how to live your life. And just giving you that disclaimer that if you don't like to see animals killed and processed for food, then this is probably not the video for you, or you might want to just scroll through. You know, YouTube has that awesome little feature where you can just grab that little red button and just scroll right past the part you don't want to see. So anyway, but a lot of you are like-minded. That's why you're here. So we're going to get on with it before it gets any later. As you know, we're losing daylight every day. And so we're going to get to it. All right, Joe is in the pasture right now wrangling up Abel. Today we're going to get him over there, dispatch him and gut him, and then bring him back to the cabin area in the sled. And we're going to hang him for at least 24 hours before we start the process of butchering him and getting all of our cuts of meat. So it'll be interesting. I'm really excited. You know, this is kind of like a rite of passage for Parker. He's 11 years old. And while he's been a part of many of these processes with us and our animals, he's never been the one to pull the trigger. And I think it's a special moment for him and Joe today. And it's like, you know, you're not always successful fishing, right? You're not always successful when you go out on a big game hunt. And so for us, having the livestock here on the homestead ensures that we are still going to have homegrown, fresh, good food for our family. Even if those unsuccessful attempts at hunting or fishing or whatever happen, we're still going to be good to go. So we're out here on our property a ways. We don't want to have all the blood and everything right next to the cabin and draw in any other predators that we don't want around the homestead. So we ventured out a little bit. We're packing down a trail. We've got a ton of snow out here. You got it, Parker?
Yeah.
Good? All right, you got this, buddy.
Somewhere in there. I think. Just like right there, like that. Bam. Okay. So, ready? Go. Go.
Good job, buddy.
She's still alive?
Nope. Nope, he's not alive. Good job. I'm so proud of you. Very good, Parker. Quick and fast. Painless. That's how you do it. You good?
Yeah.
Huh? Is your little heart pounding? Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's hard. And it's okay to feel sad, right? That's normal and that's good. God gave us these animals for food, but he also wants us to have compassion because they're a life too, right? So the feelings that you're having and that even I'm having right now are because we loved him, because he was a life. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing that you feel that way, P. I'm so proud of you. Good job. What do you think about that? Did that feel kind of weird? Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, that was good. Can you pick it up?
I think it's in there somewhere. Yep.
You know, I've never been hunting in my life. I did buy a new rifle for Alaska, but I've yet to use it, and I would like to. Usually when we process meat birds, Joe was always the one to actually kill them. I never had anything to do with that. I would just help process the bird by defeathering it, cleaning it, packaging it, all that stuff. But, you know, I think it's hard no matter what. It's that moment when you take a life. And even for people that have never seen it before, all the jerking after, the old saying, run around like a chicken with your head cut off, because it's true. If you don't have them in a kill cone, those chickens are going to run around headless. And we've actually had it happen. And it can be a little mortifying if you've never seen that process take place. But just remembering that those movements are involuntary, right? Those are just nerves. And from the moment that Parker shot him, it was over. He didn't feel pain, and everything else beyond that was involuntary, but it's still hard. And I'm very proud of Parker because not everybody can do that. And I think that it takes a special person to be able to pull the trigger.
That's probably good right there.
That's such a big stump. Mm-hmm.
Set, go. Ready? One more, Joe. Set,
Hold on.
go. All right,
Hold it right there.
you gotta hurry. Dang, he's heavy. Yes.
The skin around his fur is meat.
Well, that's just tissue. The meat is the red stuff. He's still so little without all that wool, huh, Joe?
Remember what he looked like when we first got him?
Yeah, he was tiny. What's your hands killing?
This is warm.
Just cutting some of the organs out that we plan on keeping. Heart, kidneys, liver, all that good stuff.
Guess I didn't need a big zip tie. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I used to sheep. Nope, I didn't used to sheep anything. Why do you do it so slow?
Like the commercials.
Oh.